Hi, now I've come along to the production gear stand and I'm going to have a chat with my good friend Simon Beer. Simon, what are you doing here at BVE? What's the point of you coming along to a show like this?
Morning, Kevin. BVE is a great opportunity for us to bring along our latest technology and showcase some of the great new products that are coming out this year. We've got some fun toys. This is the DJI Phantom, Phantom 2 quadcopter.
Everyone wants one.
Absolutely. There are some restrictions. Obviously, we'll talk about that in a bit more later in a bit more detail. We've got the new B-Steady 3-axis gimbal. We've got a range of cages and rigs from Wooden Camera, Easy Rig, the Serp Genie motion controller that will turn your slider into a motorised slider. And we've got some really, really neat small tripods from Three-Legged Thing.
Okay, I mean, what I'm looking at over the next couple of days is products aimed specifically at the videographer. And the thing which I see on the IOV forums and external forums at the moment is everyone wants one of these drones, one of these, what do we call them?
Well, drone isn't a great word because it's been used very negatively in the press. So technically either a UAV or an RPAS, and that's remotely piloted aircraft system. Bit of background behind these. So this is a quadcopter, 4 propellers, controlled by a handheld transmitter, and you can fly these legally up to 400 feet and up to 500 meters away. Now, if you're using this for videography for commercial purposes as opposed to a hobby, you need to get a permission for aerial work. This is really, really important. Permissions for aerial work are issued by the CAA, and you can either go through a company called Resource or Euro USC, who will provide the training for you to get that particular permission.
And just how easy are these things to use? Can you just take them out of the box, start flying, or is it something you really need to practice with and get used to the controls?
Let me ask you, how long did it take you to learn how to ride a bicycle?
That's not a great question.
Well, it's really down to aptitude, practice, and having a good location to fly where, you're not going to be around other people. So you want to be away from buildings, structures, people who aren't under your direct control. There's a lot of health and safety issues you want to bear in mind. These are very clever systems. They use GPS. So when you put it up in the air, and you leave it, it will hold its position. Even if there's some wind blowing it out of the way, it will stay where you put it, basically. So it's not particularly difficult to fly, but you do need to know what you're doing, absolutely, with one of these. What's interesting, when you're flying it away from you and you start panning it or yawing it, then that's when your controls start to go, reverse, unless you're thinking from the nose direction of the aircraft.
And are there lots of, obviously this is, you can get just out of the box system, but is there lots of different attachments, and what makes them a perfect tool?
Well, we can really pimp this out for you. So, as standard, the Phantom 2 comes with a gimbal to take a GoPro camera, as we see here. We've added to this particular Phantom a video downlink so that you can monitor from the ground what your camera is actually seeing in the air. We've also put an intelligent on-screen display which gives you stuff like your battery status, how long you've got left to fly, percentage, your distance away from your takeoff point, your height, your GPS setting, and which mode you're flying. These things have different modes, so GPS, ATI mode, and you can also fly these manually, but that's a whole different ball game. So generally most people fly in these GPS when they're learning, and then ATI mode as well.
So these are very much a first stage tool, basically. How far can you go? I understand you're a bit of a flyer yourself, is that right?
So yeah, I've got a couple of Phantoms. I've got a DJI F550, which is sort of a hexacopter one stage up from this, and also an S800. Now the S800's on the borderline of 7 kilos, but from there, sky's the limit. Up to 20 kilos is sort of generally okay with these kind of bits of kit. When you get over 20 kilos, then you're in a whole different new ball game with the CAA and different permissions to fly them as well. Okay,
so for those that couldn't make BVE, how can they find out about this and all the other products that Production Gear do?
So you can visit us online at www.productiongear.co.uk. Give us a call, 0208 236 1212. As you say, my name's Simon. I'm happy to talk to anyone. So if you've got queries, questions, want to have a look at one, come into our showroom. We've got a big 1,000 square foot stock showroom as well in Borehamwood, Hertfordshire. Give us a call online, any way you want.
Brilliant, Simon. I have to say this guy is very friendly and very knowledgeable. So whatever you're looking for, make sure you pop by to the Production Gear website and have a look. Thanks very much, Simon.
Thanks, Kevin.